This is so interesting. I've never seen it do this like Zoom backend before because it's been on Cariel's account.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting to see. My phone on silent also. You don't get disturbed. All right, we're getting closer to streaming. Hello, world. This is Nicole and Bree Dietze. Pizza? Pizza like pizza?
Yeah, pizza like pizza.
Pizza like pizza. Coming to you from NoPants here. We are the interview arm of the NoPants Improv Twitch channel, and I'm here to interview the cast. And Bree is our lucky first cast member that I feel so honored that I get to talk to. Hi, Bree.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. So we're going to be doing this every. I'm going to be doing this with a different cast member every Thursday at 12:30 Central. Next week we have Kristen Drenning, and also our next show on Sunday is going to be a Snapcam show where we might be frogs or pickles or potatoes or aliens. I have no idea. And so that will be super fun. If you are watching us on Facebook, go ahead and switch over to Twitch. Our Twitch channel is twitch.tv/NoPants Improv. Thanks for joining me, Bree.
It's awesome being here.
Yeah, so you are like one of the original NoPants Improv members before we sort of went international. How has that journey and arc been for you?
I mean, it's really exciting. Like, we basically just started out doing this like as a sort of way to stay entertained, and now we're performing regularly, and we get to have interactions with all of these awesome people from all over the place. Like, I got to meet you, and I would have never met you. I met my boyfriend on NoPants, and I would have never met him.
Yes.
We've had a couple of NoPants romances, which is just crazy.
I love that. I love it so much because it gives me personally it lets me see the possibilities for romance during quarantine.
Right.
Other than apps, it's like, oh, you can really, like, you can still meet someone anywhere by surprise, which is super cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but like having this outlet during the pandemic has been like, I feel like it's so important to my sanity.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's like a sanity saver. Like, I feel like there have definitely been days where I'm like, I don't even know if I want to do improv right now, but then you just play with all of these people and you're like, that's exactly what I needed. So now I just look forward to our shows. They're like definitely a part of my life now. Yeah, it's a way to kind of get that interaction. I'm an introvert, so I don't really need like interaction, but I do feel like I need to be able to like laugh and goof around and play on a regular basis.
Yeah, I have the same experience where I realized what an introvert I was when this started happening, because I was like, oh, if I'm not making plans, I just don't need to call people anymore. And my life was like, great, I have so much free time because I don't love the phone, right? Yeah. But then I started the poor people that were living in my house, like I just needed that outlet. And so I just started sort of improvising and saying weird things in random moments. That was like, everybody knew I was kind of a weirdo, but they were like, this is not the right place. So it's so great. And you do Star Trek, you do puppet shows, and you do shows, right?
What was the last thing you said?
I said you do Star Trek and puppet shows and regular NoPants shows.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We just started doing like regular puppet shows, which you're a part of too, and regular Star Trek. And those are really fun. I look forward to both of those. Puppets is fun because like who doesn't want to be a puppet? As we're quickly learning. Yeah, and then like just whatever else pops up, like whatever y'all come up with in your creative minds or whatever Cariel has on the table. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like a really fun creative group, and I love how those things, like new things, pop up. I had never even done puppets until our first puppet show, which until an hour before I thought was a rehearsal, because there was some like conversation about me having a rehearsal and I just got thrown into it. And then the next day I was telling my friends and family, if anyone needs to buy me a gift, like a puppet is a great gift. I could use more puppets. Puppets are taking over. I love them so much.
Puppets are fun. I wish I had more puppets. Like they are so, like the cool ones are really cool. I literally bought like the Melissa and Doug one that's like for babies. It shipped in like 2 days and it was cheap. So I also still had a puppet randomly left over from that one time when I went to the toy store and I was like, I need a puppet, like 10 years ago. So, and I never played with it ever until like the puppet thing. Yeah.
I love it when those things happen. I love it so much. So tell me about your journey into improv, sort of pre this. You were into improv before. Everybody on No Pants was into improv before quarantine,
Yeah.
right? And so like, what drew you into improv? What kind of impact has it made on you?
Yeah, improv. I started improv like almost 2 years ago. Like pretty much 2 years ago. You got a little.
Got him.
Oh. Friggin' Caesar Milan over here.
I knew that was the risk of sitting outside.
Look at the baby. Improv, right? There was a free class at the Hideout. They have regular free classes. I think they might still, but you basically just like go and play for 2 hours and like you do all the stuff that makes you feel like good and like you've had so much fun, and because you just play all those games where you play like sound ball or whatever and chase each other around. And so like afterwards, one of my friends was like, I'm definitely going to sign up. And so I was like, well, I mean, like if you're going to do it, so I'm going to do it too. And I just kind of originally was like, I think I felt the way I felt in those 2 hours is like a way I had not felt outside of in my life for a long time. Mm-hmm. Like just having that sort of free playtime, like I'm an idiot, like nobody cares. Mm-hmm. And just it felt like very freeing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I think I need a little bit more of that in my life. And like specifically, I felt like it might really be helpful to me if I could take a little bit of that like into my workplace where like I think, just having this fear of like doing presentations or like speaking in front of a crowd, or like even just talking to your boss, like asking for a raise, like things that make you afraid at work. I was like, maybe this will help me a little bit. So yeah, I was like, I'm just going to do like the classes and then like go through all the levels, or I actually didn't even think I was going to go through all the levels. But I didn't think I was ever going to perform. And then I think by the time I got to level 3, I was like already auditioning for things. So yeah.
I love that story. And I totally know what you mean, because for me, one of the big impacts that improv has had is it's cured me of like the need to know how to do something in advance before I do it.
Yes.
I'm just like, well, I'm going to go do that thing. And even now during quarantine, like I'm getting out in nature. I've taken up bike riding. I've taken up stand-up paddleboarding. And I was like, the voices are still there, mm-hmm. but you're just like practiced in ignoring them and they're much quieter and it seems less scary. I don't know if that's your experience. But.
Yeah, no, totally. It's like, I'm always amazed at how much improv leaks into other areas of your life. Like, I feel like, honestly, improv has been like a huge part of my personal growth. It makes, like you said, it makes you just like less afraid or less prone to like needing to know every step of the way and needing to plan everything. I think it makes you interact differently with other people. Like, I think it makes you listen more, like you just practice listening more and therefore you end up listening more. Like, I think it makes you more collaborative because you're like, I've been on stage with that person who totally threw a wrench into everything. And guess what? Like, nobody exploded and like the scene didn't die. Like, we still made it work. So like, it makes you a lot less fearful of like the things that could go wrong, because like, you're not gonna die. Like, it's gonna be fine. Like, you could literally like fart in the middle of a presentation and you could probably still like knock it out.
Yes. I had to do an improv self-assessment for a class that I'm in at Second City. I'm in conservatory, and what like some of the assessment was singing, dancing, and I was like, I don't know if they mean technical skill because I don't really have that right now. But if they mean willing to do it on stage and like will throw my back into it, like 10 out of 10, like I will sing and dance, like great, you know.
Right.
And I don't think that would have been the same before improv.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think I definitely used to be like, if I can't do this perfectly, like I'm not qualified to do it. And now, like you were saying, you tried paddleboarding. Like, I just took up slacklining, and like I'm like, I don't have any expectations for it. I'm just like, yeah, I'm willing to do it. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I think it makes your life a lot less stressful. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm prone more toward anxiety. I tend to overthink things and still do, and I am still like risk adverse, but this is just like definitely made my life a lot easier, just being an improviser.
Yeah. And for me, something I just realized when you were talking is like a lot of times with beginning improvisers, if there's an event coming up in the improv that you've talked about, like a wedding or something, they never get to it because they don't know what's behind it. Right. And so you spend a lot of time practicing, like, have the wedding and then see what comes out of it. And like, I myself just went through a breakup and it was like, okay, great. What's going to come out of this? Like, I was just willing to like go to the thing and go through the thing and be like, there's going to be a thing that comes out of the ether after this, you know?
Right. Yeah, just watch things unfold, and like that's your life. And like but I think it really makes you also just like a lot more present in your own life, and not you don't just like let things unfold. You are like an active participant. Yeah.
I'm much more positive. I used to always say yes, but even in my improv, it took me a long time to get to yes and realize that yes, but is still a no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes yes, but works.
It depends on your for sure. What have you found? So when we did our pre-interview, we talked a little bit about the challenges of moving improv online. What do you like about being online now? Like, what are the benefits of that?
No pants required.
I'm not wearing any pants right now.
Same. I part of what I like about being online, and is the same thing I just like about quarantining generally, is that I have a terrible time like out driving to and from places, like in Austin traffic. I'm sure if you live in a major city, you know what traffic is like and how stressful it can be. And that I just don't miss that. I don't miss driving anywhere. And like getting to the hideout for a show always meant like you're going there like during rush hour. I don't live that far from the theater. It would probably take me 20 minutes to drive there now, but it would probably take me close to an hour to drive there otherwise. So that's a huge plus. I think also being online, I mean, it definitely has its shortcomings. Like you miss a lot of elements of like the improv you can do on stage. And I think doing improv on stage, like you have all of those movements, and you can like make eye contact and touch another person. But being online, I think, kind of affords you, I don't know, the opportunity, I guess, to play more with like the characters of things, which is something that I don't do on stage. On stage, I'm almost always the grounded character. On online improv, since you don't have all those other things, like what you can implement is like being more of a character.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think that's why I like the puppets so much too, because like you can't be a puppet on stage, and like then we can't all be absurd on stage, but like I feel like if we're puppets, we can kind of all be absurd and it still works,
Yeah.
You can't make that happen like with your human body.
Yeah, puppets definitely have like an increased license for just freedom
Right.
and
Yeah.
being dirty, because everybody loves a dirty puppet.
Yeah, no, that's another thing that's true. I feel like my online improv is way more like vulgar and not meant for stage at all.
That's so fun.
It is fun.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, I'm not even sure what to ask you as a last question, but just like after all this conversation, I can definitely come up with questions to ask you, but is there anything else that like popped up in your mind that you want to say or share or
Oh
thinking
boy.
about?
Oh boy. I didn't really think of anything else.
Too open-ended?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, like, what are some things that you've seen other people do in online improv shows, either within NoPants or in other communities, that you were like, oh, that's really cool, I want to start implementing that in my online improv?
Okay, like the first thing that comes to mind is a thing that John actually did in the last Star Trek show, which I don't think he'd ever done before, and I'd never seen, where we were both on screen, and then Jennifer, a third person, came on screen, and John kind of like moved his chair like into the background and was sort of like miming things to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was having a conversation with Jennifer, and he had sort of like moved away and been like, mouthing things to me.
That's so cool.
It worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a thing.
Awesome. I did not see that show because I have class on Thursday nights, but I would love to see that, and that sounds super cool. Well, I'm going to let you go because I've kept you now for 18 minutes, and this is supposed to be a 10 to 15-minute show. But thank you so much for coming on and being my first guest on NoPants here.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun.
Yeah, and for those of you who are watching, again, our next show is Sunday night at 6:30 Central, same time, or not same time, but same place, and that's going to be the Snapcam show, where we're going to take on all kinds of filters and crazy characters, and we'll see you then.